Hi, my name is Rui Souza, and in this video I will be sharing with you a couple more innovation action calls in the Horizon Europe program within Cluster 5, which deals with climate, energy and mobility, complementing our other video about this cluster. If you are not familiar with some of these terminology, or if you need a higher level introduction to Horizon Europe, I invite you to check out our first video in this series where we present an overview of the Horizon Europe program and an introduction to this cluster. If you recall from our first video on Cluster 5, it includes groups of calls dealing with climate sciences and responses, cross-sectoral solutions for the climate transition, sustainable, secure and competitive energy supply, efficient, sustainable and inclusive energy use, clean and competitive solutions for all transport modes, and safe, resilient transport and smart mobility services for passengers and goods. In this video, we will be covering three topics. The first one belongs to the efficient, sustainable and inclusive energy use group, and the second and third ones to the group of clean and competitive solutions for all transport modes. These two groups are highlighted here in bold. Proposals for topics under efficient, sustainable and inclusive energy use are expected to support efficient and sustainable use of energy, accessible for all by ensuring a clean energy system and a just transition. The work program outlines the key strategic orientations as well as topics serving the objectives of the destination. Details about this, as well as relevant EU policies, can be found in the work program. Or you may contact us to receive this information directly, and we will gladly share this knowledge with you. The second destination to be presented in this video, under Cluster 5, considers clean and competitive solutions for all transport modes. Proposals for topics under this destination are expected to work towards climate neutral and environmentally friendly mobility through clean solutions across all transport modes while increasing the global competitiveness of the EU transport sector. In the first call we will be presenting, as the name here on the left indicates, the project outcomes will enable achieving the expected impacts of the destination by taking full advantage of alternative heating systems for electrified, efficient and precisely focused heat generation in industry. Projects are expected to contribute to the following outcomes: create the possibility for new decarbonized and flexible processes, reducing fossil fuel imports dependency, maximizing primary energy savings and CO2 emission reduction compared to present state-of-the-art demonstrated by LCA or similar studies, assuming decarbonized electricity use. Demonstrate and validate environmental and technical performances, health protection, safety and economic viability of novel heating technologies in industrial processes. And improve the awareness of the challenges and benefits of alternative heating systems in the relevant industrial sectors. With regards to the scope, projects should demonstrate the potential of alternative forms of energy to be deployed on an industrial scale through further research and upscaling work. Alternative forms of energy, such as ultrasound, microwaves, plasma, infrared, visible and ultraviolet radiations, are unconventional and contactless heat sources that create the possibility of new, efficient and flexible processes, in that they are applied precisely where they are needed and with shortened reaction times. These sources are key enablers for switching processes from fossil energy to renewable or low-carbon energy sources, and can contribute to increasing their energy efficiency, thereby reducing fossil fuel imports dependency. Moreover, they provide higher production flexibility, allowing variable throughputs to better follow market demand and enabling leaner production paradigms, for example, decreased stock production on demand, as well as flexibility for the electricity grid via demand response. Furthermore, such technologies are suitable for downscaling, which can be an advantage in some cases, local waste or biomass feedstock processing. Taking all of this into account, Projects must cover the following development areas: create cost-effective and improved designs for at least 2 alternative heat sources technologies, integrate and demonstrate the system at industrial scale of at least 1 alternative heat source technology in at least 1 industrial process, as well as demonstrate the financial viability and develop a business case. Make a preliminary estimation of the future equipment costs for at least 1 alternative heat source technology in a total of at least 3 industrial applications, including the demonstrated application, to evaluate their economic potential. Make an analysis of the potential industrial deployment and related benefits, technical, economic, climatic, environmental, of at least 1 alternative heat source technology in 3 industrial sectors, in the EU and, in the case where data are available, in the associated states and by extrapolation at a global level. As you may have heard on our previous video on this cluster, proposals should also include a strong business case and sound exploitation strategy, including preliminary plans for scalability, commercialization, and deployment, and indicating possible funding sources, in particular the Innovation Fund, as well as disseminate the technical and economic benefits, notably, but not only, to the communities of the relevant Horizon Europe private-public partnerships. The second call we want to tell you about aims at deploying ubiquitous charging infrastructures that anticipate the high growth of sales of electric vehicles. Projects are expected to contribute to the following outcomes: development and demonstration of innovative, interoperable, efficient, low-power, smart, and bidirectional on-street charging, removing barriers to electrical vehicle acceptability in densely populated areas. User acceptability should be quantifiably improved from the point of view of technology, investment costs, and costs of charging. The proposed innovative solutions should be conducive to both optimize efficiency and reduce costs, but ideally should not be visually and physically intrusive, or these aspects should be kept to a minimum level, given the high level of expected deployment that would create problems for pedestrians and other road users. It is also necessary to develop an analytical methodology, including representative models replicable at an European scale, to ensure an efficient planning for the mass deployment and integration of public and private charging infrastructure of electric vehicles, satisfying concrete user needs and making it compatible, as much as possible, with existing low-voltage grid and power system capabilities. The call demands quantifiable improvement of related business models and gaps for users when compared to state-of-the-art, also including considerations for use in less densely populated areas. Also, it is necessary to develop socio-cultural databases at city, regional, and national level, comprising daily charging habits, practices, and ideas of different community clusters. These databases should be integrated into charging and planning tools to support the determination of the most efficient and most accepted charging solutions. These developments should interact with the work of the Sustainable Transport Forum. Furthermore, it is necessary to identify and analyze potential regulatory aspects and barriers for relevant standardization activities via common, interoperable, and open standards, protocols, and digital services. Finally, the proposal needs to execute the deployment of multi-level systemic architecture and solutions for smart and bidirectional charging power management that will increase penetration of renewable energy sources, as well as enhance the grid capabilities and power system resilience by alleviating grid congestions and leveling off the load curve. In terms of scope of this very ambitious topic, please take note that future charging infrastructure deployment should be ubiquitous and should accompany, with a certain level of anticipation, the growth of electric vehicle sales. Thus, associated charging solutions should enable seamless processes that are easy, fully interoperable across European country borders, and available at any time. The aim of this topic is to enable and improve massive, smart, on-street, and low-cost charging of EVs, as well as improve the overall efficiency of power supply to the grid, including a space and time-oriented prediction and control of the global charging power demand, while also enabling and improving smart home and office charging that could be explored by proposals to complement the on-street charging solution. Proposals are expected to address all of the following aspects: guarantee an exhaustive coverage of high efficiency, low power, low cost, on-street smart charging points, considering grid infrastructure and capacity, optimization of civil works, and grid requirements for services and charging needs, including the parking patterns, charging on long and short-term parking spaces to reduce the need for additional buffers to stabilize the grid. It is also necessary to address users' needs and requirements in socio-cultural contexts of different communities to incorporate daily habits, practices, and ideas into the design and development of people-friendly infrastructure with an emphasis on public charging. The proposal must use statistical models of parking, traffic, and grid configuration and energy flows to predict and support power supply planning on a larger scale, at least at a regional level, along with methodologies and demonstrations to derive or calibrate such models on the basis of real traffic and behavioral data. Lastly, a winning proposal needs to deliver people-centric applications equipped with the analytical capability and human-machine interfaces for friendly access and use that support the interactions related to the ratio between location, power, and price for prompt decision-making or pre-allocation of charging stations, in line with users' charging preferences and vehicle state of charge, also allowing charging point operators to predict power demand. In addition, proposals are expected to support and demonstrate smart and bidirectional operation in overnight publicly accessible environments to accommodate demand for long-term charging and meeting some of the requirements of opportunistic charging types, motivating the people to optimally charge, meaning maximizing the use of renewable power, and promoting the development and use of interfaces with customized vehicle charging technology, which can be preconditioned and set up by the driver, including the pre-allocation of charging points. Develop innovative optimization functions exploiting real-time access to battery information such as state of health, state of charge, capacity, and power set point, which should be provided respecting any GDPR and data disclosure terms to the owners, users, or other stakeholders in the value chain, such as building energy system managers, mobility and logistics service providers, and electricity stakeholders. Furthermore, it should provide the developed solutions on non-discriminatory terms between users and classes of users, and allow the choice of the e-mobility service providers so as to avoid consumers lock-in with a single e-mobility service provider affiliated to specific vehicle manufacturers. Lastly, it should optimize the use of energy resources and infrastructures to cater not just to private mobility usage, but also integrating opportunity use of the same infrastructure by other light-duty fleets, if their needs are compatible with a low power level. There are some additional points to consider. This topic requires the effective contribution of experts in social sciences and humanities in order to produce meaningful effects to enhance the societal impact of the research. Furthermore, in order to achieve the expected outcomes, social innovation should be considered. As a last point, you may have noticed the 2-0 partnership in the title. Indeed, this topic implements the co-programmed European Partnership on Towards Zero Emission Road Transport, 2-0. As such, projects resulting from this topic will be expected to report on the results to the 2-0 partnership in support of the monitoring of its key performance indicators. The third and last call that we want you to know about is focused on combining state-of-the-art emission reduction and efficiency improvement technologies in ship design and retrofitting for contributing to the Fit for 55 package objective by 2030. For that purpose, project outputs and results are expected to contribute to the development of at least 3 market-ready vessel design solutions to address short sea shipping, inland waterway transport, and high seas shipping, making innovative use of combinations of close-to-market emission reduction and efficiency improvement technologies, that is, TRL7 or higher, to reduce emissions from shipping. Quantitative assessment of the designs towards achieving significant emission reductions consistent with Europe's Fit for 55 package objectives and the International Maritime Organization's carbon intensity indicator through verifiable KPIs. Facilitation of the continuous improvement and upgrading of existing vessels to increase efficiency and reduce emissions through the measurements and benchmarking of operational profiles. Quantification of the contribution towards cutting emissions from a range of emission reduction technologies on a life cycle basis, including the separate and joint consideration of design and operations within relevant environments. It should also enable assessment of the retrofit and refurbishment options of applied emission reduction technologies. Furthermore, the project must support accelerated conversion of inland and maritime vessels towards better energy efficiency and reduced emissions. And lastly, it should aim at the development of robust business models for the design concepts to ensure a high probability of commercial European deployment and the expectation of becoming operational by 2030. For new builds, present improvements in ship energy efficiency have reduced consumption by 15 to 30% compared to equivalent reference ships in 2008. Contributing to Fit for 55 objectives, the challenge is to develop at least 3 concept vessels which will further improve energy efficiency by at least 20%, compared to a 2022 reference performance for equivalent ships. This design for operation approach will integrate and combine both operational energy savings and emission reduction technologies. Several technologies and solutions to be combined and integrated should be chosen so as to provide the largest impact, and these are expected to already be individually demonstrated or developed to TRL7. This could, for example, concern various combinations of power conversion, electrification, energy devices, sustainable climate-neutral low-emission fuels, HVAC, energy storage, operations, smart energy monitoring, renewables including wind assistance, hydrodynamics, cold ironing, slow steaming, just-in-time scheduling, propeller designs, among many others. In order to address the above-mentioned challenge, proposals are expected to address all of the following aspects: energy system modeling and fast simulation assessment to demonstrate the expected energy efficiency gains and life cycle emission reductions achieved by the resulting designs within their operating reference cases. A holistic or systemic approach should be applied to the design, which is to be based upon total vessel energy needs for use within reference operating profiles and business cases. A minimum of 3 vessel concept designs and use cases are expected to be developed, including the following vessel types: short sea, inland waterway, and high seas. For each vessel type, retrofit solutions for the baseline design from 2008 should be proposed, as well as a completely new design. Development of an open-source design assessment tool which can be used to assess the operational carbon intensity of vessel designs. Development of decision support or automation systems to facilitate the most effective implementation of operational energy efficiency improvements. Plans for exploitation and dissemination of results should include a strong business case and sound exploitation strategy. The development of business models to facilitate the deployment of the resulting vessel design concepts, in particular addressing financing, market needs, and possibilities to support first-of-a-kind deployment. Considering the potential of opportunities within the EU support schemes, such as the Connecting Europe Facility, Climate Change Innovation Fund, and regional funds. Proposals are expected to demonstrate a clear and credible pipeline from the development to the operational deployment of the developed designs by 2030. This should include preliminary plans for scalability, commercialization, and deployment feasibility study, business plan, indicating the possible funding sources to be potentially used, as previously mentioned. Again, you may have noticed the ZEWT partnership in the title. As for the previously presented call, projects resulting from this topic will be expected to report on results to the European Partnership Zero Emission Waterborne Transport in support of the monitoring of its KPIs. The list that you currently see on your screen includes all calls within the group Efficient, Sustainable and Inclusive Energy Use, with deadlines on the 18th of April and 5th of September 2024. On the group of Clean and Competitive Solutions for All Transport Modes, the deadlines all fall on the 18th of April 2024. We hope that with this explainer video, we were able to enlighten you towards the possibility of considering an innovation action project within Cluster 5 for your research and development goals. This was the second of 2 videos on this specific cluster, and we have videos that dive deeper into other clusters as well as a general introduction to the program. Feel free to check out any of those other videos, and if any of these topics suit you, or if you would like to discuss any other European funding opportunity, please reach out to us using one of the contacts in your screen. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end and for your attention.